Last virtual day of the year writing workshop. Welcome to Monday, May 15th. I am going to try to keep this video rather short, just understanding that we are trying to wrap up the semester well here. As always, it's a virtual day. If you haven't said a prayer for your learning, might be good to pause the video now, say a quick prayer. If you've already said a prayer today, might as well continue on. Again, we'll try to keep this video short. As it says, just directions-wise, you are watching the Apostrophes and Quotations review video right now. One thing I will tell you is that later on in this video, I will take a look at the practice final that has been open for a week now. Just as an example, we'll look at the Apostrophes and Quotation marks questions, just as a little example there too. I would remind you to keep working on college essay revisions and research paper revisions. I will tell you that I am caught up on all the ones that have been turned in. Through Friday, or through Saturday, I should say. One thing I will tell you is I will do a round of revision grading tonight. So I do want to give you a chance to turn in any sort of revisions that have been done already. I'll take a look at those tonight, and then I'll maybe give a refresher on revisions once again when I see you again tomorrow in class. So as we look into our lesson folder, you've got Apostrophes and Quotations review. There's also the practice test. Again, we'll take a look at a couple questions together. But I just want to go into our document, which is attached here for you if you need a digital copy of it. I just want to take a look at apostrophes and quotation marks, and then we'll hop right over into our practice test. So we've already covered usage. We did usage and vocab on the same day to start last week. Commas and semicolons we did during the block last week. And then on Friday we looked at colons and dashes specifically. I know dashes we didn't talk much about over the school year, but I did spend a moment kind of teaching about their uses, whatever few uses they have, in class on Friday. What comes up today is apostrophes and quotation marks. These are two punctuation marks that we have focused on in different weeks. I just put them together for this document. Just want to cover the rules once again here. For one, apostrophes, their main use is to show possession. Once again, we add apostrophe and an S to singular nouns. So the dog's bowl, D-O-G apostrophe S, one bowl, singular, for one dog, singular. Let's say it's multiple dogs and multiple bowls, D-O-G-S apostrophe, dogs, bowls. That would be for most plural possessives. We do have to watch for exceptions. So noun plurals that don't end in S, like goose changes to geese, child changes to children. They're just going to add a regular apostrophe S as if they were singular. Something to note, some proper nouns ending in S do not take an extra S. Jesus is a good example of that. You will not see Jesus S apostrophe, or Jesus's S apostrophe S in literature. It's just Jesus' disciples S apostrophe, even though Jesus is singular. The hardest thing we talked about with possessive nouns is what you do when you have multiple possessive nouns. It really depends on the object. So if the multiple possessive nouns possess the same object, like grandma and grandpa's house, one house, that they own together, then it's just one apostrophe S, just after the last noun. We went to my grandma and grandpa's house. Again, one house that my grandma and grandpa jointly own would be one apostrophe S. Let's say grandma has her own car and grandpa has his own car. We took grandma's and grandpa's cars, plural, out for a wild joyride. Notice here, grandma's got her own car, apostrophe S. Grandpa's got his own car, apostrophe S. We took them both out for a wild joyride. In that situation, each possessive noun gets an apostrophe S. Looks like we just have one little point to talk about quotation marks. The thing to remember is that we use double quotes for any quoted material. Really, the main use of quotation marks is to direct quote anything that you want to represent from another speaker. We do have to remember to use single quotes for quotes inside of quotes. I know this word quotation shows up a ton here. Something to remember, too, is that quotations can be introduced with commas or colons. They both work. Take a look. This one actually does have a quote inside of a quote. We have Carson writes, so Carson is quoting. In the words of Robson, another quote, single quote, practice makes permanent. Notice at the end of this sentence, we do have a triple quote construction there. It's because practice makes permanent is a quotation inside of a quotation, but it also happens to end the quotation. So it goes period, single quote, double quote to end that one. These sorts of situations where you have that kind of triple quote construction are kind of rare, so you may not see anything necessarily this difficult on your final, but I do want you to be aware of what to do in that situation. So we are popping into the practice test now. I'm just going to click preview, and I might skip a little bit in order to find where all the apostrophe and quotation questions are. Alright, I think I found the first apostrophe question, which is number 19 here. I once overheard my parents' conversation about hiding my Christmas gift. Notice, I can tell this is an apostrophe question because they give me different possible spellings and punctuations for parents here. Nothing else changes besides conversation, changing the conversations, plural, and D right here. I'm going to eliminate D. That doesn't make any sense. So we're talking about one conversation, and I basically just have to decide whether it's S apostrophe or apostrophe S. This one's going to have to be S apostrophe because I have more than one parent who are having this conversation here. It'd be S apostrophe because parents here is plural, and then the apostrophe to make it possessive. Quotation mark question. Let's just hide it in our closet, said Mom. This one's a simple one. We can tell that we need a quotation mark here, so it's not going to be no change. I'll just eliminate that real quick. Now we just have to decide how to punctuate this thing. There's already a comma there, so I wouldn't necessarily use B. Just have to decide where my comma goes. The thing to remember, 1 dot in, 2 dots out, that's what it's all about. Commas go inside of quotes, just like periods do. Another tricky apostrophe. It took me some time to regain Mom's and Dad's trust again. If I'm using elimination, I can get rid of theirs. One rule we talked about with apostrophes this semester is that possessive pronouns never have apostrophes. And let's say I know I can get rid of C as well. I know I need some kind of apostrophe S here. Our correct answer is going to be B. Mom and Dad together jointly own this trust. It's not regain Mom's trust and regains Dad's trust separately. I'm talking about regaining them together. Let's put them together with one apostrophe S. And it looks like those are actually the main questions for apostrophes and quotation marks. You'll see a couple more of those on the final, but this is a really good way to practice this, or to practice these punctuation marks along with anything else grammatically that you will want to be aware of for the final. This test will still be open all week and halfway through next week as well, so take it as many times as you need. I hope these couple of questions were helpful. Again, I'll catch you tomorrow in class. We'll do some more review. We'll do some more revision time as well. Until then, peace.